Okay, back with you on the Bronx Buzz. I'm always happy when one of my buddies is on the show. And right now, one of my buddies is on the show. It is Linda Collazo, mezzo soprano. Nice to see you, Linda.
Hi, thank you so much for having
I
me.
thought you were going to give me a singing welcome. All right, I didn't get that.
Oh,
Linda is just an extraordinary opera singer and piano teacher, et cetera, et cetera. You also were honored. We're going to talk about that. Just talk about the upcoming schedule. Let's see. You've done this, that, and the other, and where we're going to be at for the rest of 2025.
so this year,
I've got a list here in front of
I
me. So
know
I'll make sure you get it right.
yeah, no, it's okay. I just finished covering Carmen at Lincoln Center, just covering it, which means that if the person got sick, I would have gone on, but that didn't happen. And then
Excuse me. Had you told me, I would have done something to sabotage the effort and made sure that you got in there. But okay.
No, it's okay. But now coming up, I have my Carnegie Hall performance again with Choirs of America. I'm going to be Dorabella with Bronx Opera, and Così fan tutte by Mozart, and then I'm going to be in like a little new opera project in Boston by a Latino composer called Jorge Sosa with White Snake Projects called The People Like Us. And I think I'm also supposed to, in July, work with another company called Teatro Grattacielo, which is another company in New York City. And other than that, I'm really just auditioning. You know, a lot of my job is just preparing for auditions.
Is trying to figure out, I know you long enough so that I know when you were not that busy. And I'm curious about that process. Obviously you become better, you end up knowing more people and all that. But what are the auditions like? Do they have you sing and then somebody sits there and says yes or no or something? And what is that like for you? That's what's interesting.
It's hard. It's very nerve-wracking. A lot of being a performer is really always trying to maintain optimism and being positive and believing that you have what it takes. Like I said before in many other interviews, I compare a career in the opera industry to a career in Hollywood because you experience a ton of rejection. A lot of what we do is also based on connections, who likes you, who knows your work ethic. And so when you go into an audition, it's not necessarily just about how you sing. I mean, obviously we have to try to sing as best as we can. But yeah, I have to come in with a very, very nice outfit.
Heels, that's part of it. Yeah.
The whole get up, makeup. You know, I have to look good. No jeans. Definitely, probably like a woman's power suit or like.
You can't be the Bronx girl that we know you really are.
And then it's very formal. I have to be like, hello, my name is Linda Collazo, and I'm going to sing X, Y, and Z. They have a pianist. I sing with the pianist to a panel of, it varies between one person to like 10 people. Wow. And they don't tell you yes or no on the spot. Typically, sometimes you wait months to hear a response.
Wow. Do you choose the material, or do they want you to sing within whatever they're planning to put on so they know that you can do it?
So when you do an audition, you can submit a repertoire list. So you have what's called a package. So a package is what you have to offer. It's typically about 5 arias or more, or maybe like 4, and different languages. And you pick the first one typically. So typically when you walk in, you're like, hello, my name is Linda Collazo, and I'm going to sing X, Y, and Z. And typically they hear a second one. They look at your package and then they pick a second song that they want to hear. And then from there, that's it. You head out.
Wow. Do you get real nervous? Are you real nervous about it sometimes? That you're like, oh my goodness, I don't know,
Sometimes.
Or you just do so many of them. It's like, all right, I'm just going to do it. You either like me or you don't.
Sometimes I do get nervous. I try to channel my role, like the role that I'm singing, to the anxiety I'm feeling. So I'm just like, okay, my character is feeling nervous because X, Y, and Z. So it contributes to my performance in a productive way. Typically, the preparation for anyone in this industry is so stellar. Like a lot of practice goes in, a lot of rehearsals go in, that even if you do feel nervous, you still deliver very well.
Because you've been doing this. Yeah, of course. It's, I never really asked you about that whole process, about how you get the jobs or you don't get the jobs. it must be nerve wracking. And on one hand, on the other hand, it's almost like going to work every day. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that's what you got to do. I can't believe anybody would reject you. They're out of their minds. But one thing I don't know that maybe I asked you, we've done these things very often, the acting and the singing. Now you could prepare the singing, but after all, an opera is a theatrical piece as well. Do you practice that? Does that come naturally? Do you only worry about the singing, or do you have to go in there and do all of the above kind of thing?
So that's a very funny question, very timely question, honestly, for you to bring up, because I'm working on my acting in particular now. So there's so many things to focus on in opera. Typically, when you're in school, you're focusing solely on technique, which I think is actually kind of unfortunate, because then we have singers who they go up to sing this very dramatic, purposeful piece that has a certain meaning, but they're just thinking about their technique the whole time, and then their eyes just don't really communicate.
Yeah, I have to tell you, there are so many things that people do that comes up. Think about a baseball player. It's the same thing. He said if he or she, of course, if they're worried about my elbow too high, my bat speed, or whatever, then they're not going to be naturally hitting the ball. And I think there's a relation. That's analogous to what you're talking about. Listen, before we run out of time, we want to show something. So this piece there, we're not going to show the whole thing because it's like 4 or 5 minutes, but we'll show about a minute and a half. What is this? This was the performance you just talked about, right?
This is the
Carmen
performance that I did. It is Carmen, but I did it this past summer with Charlottesville Opera.
Okay, so there you go. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to present Linda Collazo.
Oh, thank you.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen, Linda Collazo. Congratulations on being able to do that. It's just beautiful. When you see it, do you say, "Oh, I didn't do that right," or you are generally?
Oh yeah, it's a lot of
you're the worst.
Yeah, a lot of what I do is just to the T. You'd be surprised. These conductors, it's like they make it their lives work to like really nail everything.
All right. Listen, two more things to talk about. Yeah. Number one, congratulations on being honored by the Borough President's Office. And you sang the national anthem. There she was, invited to the Women's History Fellowship Brunch. That must have been exciting for you to be with other women in the Bronx who achieved.
Yeah, it was a really beautiful moment, and a really affirming moment, because like
Isn't that great?
Like we were just talking about, this industry is filled with so much rejection. So it's nice to be recognized by my community while I'm trying to, work through the ups and downs of this industry.
And I like the fact that you said it's affirming, because it helps you appreciate people like me who think how wonderful you are. The other thing I want to talk about is the piano lessons. Okay. You teach piano. In fact, I just spoke to actually Emily Swanson just told me that one of her friends is now taking lessons with you. Talk to me about what you love about teaching and who you teach and all those kinds of things.
So I teach both voice and piano. And what's really exciting now, actually, is I have about 20 students that I see a week, which is the most I've ever had.
Oh, great. I'm saying great for them. They made a good choice.
Yeah. And actually, most of my students are from the Bronx. which is really amazing. So I teach in person in Longwood, but I also teach online. So I'm able to teach people all over the state, or even I have some people from in California even that I teach.
Wow.
Um,
Let me just ask you about that. How do you teach online? I guess you sit at the piano and you tell them to practice.
I have my piano right here, so I put my computer on top of it, and I just
Wow.
right. So I play piano. I played piano since I was 7, so I'm able to vocalize with my students, like do exercises with them, accompany them while they're singing their pop songs or opera songs, whatever. And then with piano, the wonderful thing about technology that many people have learned about through COVID is the ability to screen share. So, we're basically on the computer together on webcam, but then sharing the same page of a book together for piano.
Wow, that's interesting. So you can read it off.
Yeah,
So it works out. I mean,
it really does. It really,
yeah.
I'm able to move my mouse to show, hey, you got this part wrong. Can you try this part again? Like
Right,
it's
right.
out. Yeah.
So now people and you teach all ages, right? It doesn't have
Yes,
to be
and I
college.
love teaching people of all ages, even adults. It's really fun because
All right. It's funny. I thought you were going to say even the kids, but you say, yeah, even the adults. Of course, you want to teach.
yeah, like I mean, kids, like that's like a no-brainer. Like every
them.
but to teach children, that's typically the main
Right.
demographic. But
And you can teach any style. It's not just because
yeah,
you're an opera
I
singer.
try to explore everything, and I try to explore all levels. I try to be as accessible as possible.
And how do people get in touch with you specifically for the piano lessons, but they could find out about all this other stuff you do?
My website, lindacollazo.com. You could do /lessons to get to the lessons page, or just explore the website to see where you can add yourself, like to my email list, or read about me and things like that. Contact.
Tell me about practicing yourself. You practice every day.
Right.
Do you fight with yourself and say, I don't feel like practicing today? Or even teaching piano lessons is a way of practicing.
Well, it takes real discipline. It takes so much discipline. Of course, there are days I don't want to practice. Oh my God, there are days where I just want to lay in bed and just stay in bed, or go
Yeah,
for a
right.
walk and be outside, go have drinks with my friends.
I'm
But
sure.
for what I do, and for anything, right? So if you're an athlete, if you are whatever you do takes discipline. Like you got to hit the gym to take care of yourself. That's really
And do you sing every day?
um at least once every 2 days.
Okay.
I try to.
I don't want to be the little bug up there and said, Gary said I should play every day. No, I
Well,
don't.
you should, this instrument, the vocal instrument, especially as an educator, I try to teach this to my students.
Got it.
It's very fragile. So the moment you're tired, you should rest. So I
Got
teach
it. Listen,
every day.
Linda, we got to go. You're
Oh,
the best. Congratulations on everything. Just keep doing it. All those people, anybody who rejects you is out of their minds, but we know that. You just continue to do what you do. You're just so important to us in the Bronx. Thank you so much.
thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank
You
you so
go,
much.
lindacollazo.com. That's where you're going to find her. And that will do it for the Bronx Buzz. We thank Emily. We thank Linda. We thank all the people of the Bronx. And if the curtain don't fall and the creek don't rise, we'll somehow be here next week.